Hoods up.
Hoods up. Oh. Oh.
The coach's chat is back.
So you wanted me to like go. Yay!
Hit me. Rapid
Right
fire
away?
question.
Okay, we're gonna just go back and forth.
Each question?
Yeah. Or I could do it and then you could do it. I'll ask you and then you say and then I say and then I give you the phone. Ready?
Okay.
Name a 4-letter word that starts with the letter B.
Butt. B-U-T-T.
I was gonna say brat.
Okay. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Describe your style in one word.
Athleisure. I never knew what that was until somebody told me.
So you're athletic leisure?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just what the coolest kids say.
Wait, should we do it like I'll answer for you, you answer for me?
Oh, okay. Next one. But what's your style?
One word. Handsome.
Oh, okay.
All right, because I don't believe this is true. Have you ever won a contest?
Yes.
What kind of contest?
This is what made me laugh. A booty shaking contest. It was in Puerto Rico.
This is real?
This is real. Yep.
What were you wearing?
I don't even know. Shorts, but tequila was flowing.
What was the year?
2003. I don't know.
You didn't even have a butt back then.
I did too. And they were like, calling all the ladies up for a booty shaking contest, and I was like, and I won it.
How big were how steep was this competition?
There was a lot of ladies in it, and they could booty shake. But I was very upset to find out that you know what you won? I shot a tequila.
Great. Okay, do I think you believe in soulmates?
Are you asking, what do you do? Oh, okay, yeah.
Do I think you, wait a minute. Do I think you believe in soulmates?
Yes.
I don't think you do.
Really?
You do.
I think that there are people out there that you connect with better than other people, and that you're meant to connect with.
Do you think I believe in soulmates?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Are you just jumping around?
Yeah, I was sprinkling.
What is one of your nicknames? Bread?
Muscle Daddy.
And what was the bread man?
Oh, so Breadman was retired.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Breadman was retired in the military.
And why was your name Bread Man?
People will be surprised to know that there was a time in my life where I used to, in my young days, eat a half a loaf of bread before a workout and then a half a loaf of bread after. It was an exceptional way to grow my caboose, but also led to some body fat pretty quickly. It didn't last long.
What is one of my nicknames?
Well, Gail is a classic, but Gail is, I consider that your name.
That's the number one.
That's your number one nickname?
Yeah.
Pookie? Does
No,
call you Pookie?
Some people call me like Puka, like Pook. Some people, yeah, Pook.
Okay.
Is your bed made right now?
99% of the time, it is.
Really?
Of course, I'm like, and I said this to Britt
That's
too.
non-judgmental. I just didn't think that your bed would be made right now.
Of course, I don't like to get into an unmade bed too. So like at night, right? Like when it's time to get in bed. So this past weekend I spent time at Britt's and like I noticed like the bed was a little disarray like after mid-afternoon. I was like, oh no, I gotta make this thing because I want to get into a made bed. Is your bed made? No.
It's not.
Yeah.
But I'm like you. I want to get into a tidy bed.
Tidy.
So I make it when I get home from the gym usually. Yeah.
And that's not hard.
You did skip around.
Mm-hmm. What is one thing you regret spending money on? Last question, then we'll get to some fitness and some other things. What do you regret spending some money on? Your hair.
Yeah.
I only laugh because she just told me a story about her hair. What's something I regret spending money on? I have no regrets.
No.
Right now.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I can I just ask this one because I really like this one. What is one thing that you wish you enjoyed more?
Oh, something I wish I enjoyed more. Well, you know, what jumps out right away?
Mine's food shopping.
Oh, thank God, you made it light. Okay, all right.
Oh, you were thinking like.
Yeah, I'm trying to like.
No, I was thinking on the lighter side. Like, what's the thing that I just really enjoy? I just really wish I enjoyed food shopping. It's something that I just like don't look forward to.
Okay, here's one for me. Like in bed, cuddling. I prefer like, hey, you lay on your side, I lay on my side. You know, but I could appreciate like, oh, that would be cool, and you know, maybe but like body temperature's hot. It's like, oh,
yeah, you're hot. Don't touch me.
Yeah. All right. Where do you want to shift into?
You want to talk about nutrition Kickstart?
Let's do it. So if you're a member, or even I should say an outside, you're not a member of Railroad, it is right now, it's December 20th. January 8th, we're going to be launching a nutrition Kickstart. So here we coach personal training, there's semi-private training, there's group training, and we coach nutrition one-on-one. But what I wanted to do at the beginning of the year was offer up something a little bit more broader to say, let's start with this Kickstart for folks who aren't in that one-on-one program. And it's gonna be a 6-week Kickstart where we're gonna have a launch kickoff with the coach, providing an hour Q&A, education. Folks will get to get their metrics on the in-body scan, which tells you your body fat, your muscle, gives you like the whole breakdown of your stats of your composition, which is really helpful. And over the course of the 6 weeks, the goal is drips. So example, week 1, we're gonna focus on one particular nutrition habit and work to make strides in that. And then week 2, we stack another habit. And this is how we approach individualized nutrition. So we're gonna kind of do a toe in the water approach to this to really help. We're gonna cap it at 15 people because we know people are struggling. We know people are not feeling the way that they want to feel. We know people are not meal prepping. We know that people are just generally not where they want to be, and we have the tools and the resources, and we can help. So
and generally, people like just might not know how.
Or they're not educated. That's a big one in talking with people. So it's a really great opportunity to invest in yourself for at least 6 weeks with the opportunity to go on to ongoing coaching, which, you know, no false illusions here. It is a Kickstart. It is getting started. It is not going to be the thing right away that does the dramatic results. There's no potions. Like, that stuff's just not real. It gets you started, and then where the real results come in, especially coaching people individually, is somewhere between the 90 day to 6 month mark of consistency. So I really encourage people to get started, and if you're not where you want to be or you need more help, to then look into ongoing coaching as well. Yeah.
And I like this too because a lot of people that have been asking about it are I'm a little ghosty. They're looking for something like this that can kind of give them a little bit of an ease into something like that. Like maybe it's not as jarring, it may be the word, to start like individually. Because it could be,
or intimidating, or it lets you kind of feel it out.
Yeah,
lets you feel it out. And some folks, we talked about this, like, the group, you're doing it alongside others. That adds some accountability, some fun, some, hey, you can swap things, talk about your experiences, but it is a very individualized experience. It's not going to be customized like one-on-one. So again, it's more broad, but it's not, I let anybody down or anything like that. And everything is very specific to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that we have had some talks lately with people that, especially members, that feel as though there's intimidation maybe around the word nutrition. It could be a scary thing because they've maybe tried many, many times, including myself here, and like, I hate saying this word, but failed, or just were not successful. They tried something, maybe they lost weight within the first, 14 days or 30 days, but then they went back to the eating that they were doing beforehand and they gained it back. And it's like this lost gain, game that they're playing. So what we try to do with the Nutrition Kickstart and also working in a one-on-one environment is layering it in so that you can master these habits and not do everything at once, because that would set you up for failure.
For sure. And we talked about this, and if you want to kind of go down this area too, of folks who maybe are or have been in a place, in a body, at a weight that they are not pleased with for a long period of their life, 10, 20, 30 plus years, there could also be associations, patterns, conditioning, identity around that to upgrade, to evolve, to expand, to change, it's leaving and working away from this aspect, this version of myself. That's like a loss of identity for some folks. And you have to be super committed to this, where you're going and who you're going to become along the way. And I've seen people who truly commit and are successful, and we've kind of like talked about them and what it takes. And then people who run the same circles of a little success, backslide, and they're running that circle for years. We talked about the identity, the fear of the identity loss. We talked about conflicting values. I want to lose weight, but I don't want to do X, and how those can...
Or I'm not willing to do...
I'm not willing to do X. And it's not to say you have to fit a specific mold, but if you have conflicting values, to remove it from nutrition real quick, I want to be successful, but I'm afraid of rejection. Well, you're going to run into some problems, is an example. Where in nutrition, whenever you're specific, I want this, I want to lose weight, but I'm eating McDonald's for breakfast, and I don't have a sense of what like my food intake is. Well, you're going to run into some issues, and you're going to be paddling upstream. So, I think of a specific client of mine who worked with a lot of our coaches across the years. I want to say 3 different ones, not you, from 2017 to now. And to this point where the 3 of them are no longer coaching here, but he had worked with them for stages and stages and made progress, but it would be progress, backslide. And I remember, and I do this to a bunch of people. So then he sought me out, and I got the download of the goal and where I want to go. And it wasn't about, you need to do this, you need to follow this. It was a talk about commitment. It was, and especially once I got the data, and it was like where your body fat is and how long this probably has been this way is a huge red flag. And if we're gonna work together, I'll accept nothing less than your full commitment. And the progress in the 5 months because of the commitment, the holding him to that standard, and I think that's like, and you tell me if I'm wrong, I think I have a little bit of a a superpower in helping people raise their standards to whatever like that is for them. And for that particular individual to see, like, to me, he is now the standard of where this can go. He's one of the people, and I'm just like so impressed. So I know what it takes too. So people have to do their part and meet halfway.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, because sometimes the conversation that I had with another member was the same thing, was like, you have to be 100% committed to making the change, because if you're only 10%, 20% or half committed, it's not going to work as well, if at all, as someone like you're describing, which is like the whole dive in. Which is, and again, I can relate in so many ways, because it is a scary thing and it is hard, especially when you've trained your mind to be this one way. And I was telling the member that I was talking to, it's like, you taught me this about creating rules for yourself and then not being able to break them. Like, I've met many people that are like, I have to have something sweet after dinner, I have to, and it's like, you made this rule for yourself, and then now it's hard to kind of rewire that, or I can't eat breakfast because I'm not hungry in the morning. or I'm not willing to eat that much protein, you know, so there's all of those, which is funny because we had unpopular opinions, and like those are unpopular opinions is
your hair does look good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Does it? I feel under the fluorescent lighting it doesn't look like home in my bathroom. I'm like, okay, it's cool, but then in the fluorescent lighting I'm like,
You need to be kinder to yourself. Unpopular opinion, I'll start. Here's an unpopular opinion I have. People should not be drinking coffee past 10 o'clock.
I don't drink coffee.
I'm not saying you. And I'll explain my why, right? So coffee to me is a kickstart essentially to the day. It gets the brain going, it suppresses appetite. It's not something that I want past, say, 10 o'clock. The half-life of it disrupts sleep, 12 hours. It suppresses the appetite, so it's going to affect eating. And I saw this, I don't know the exact stats specifically, but I saw this yesterday from someone in the health and fitness space as well. We know that for someone to gain a pound, you need an additional 3,500 calories in a week. And this person was referencing, if you get one of those like fancy coffees done up, how one or two of those, and say it's weekly, let's say one weekly, it's an additional 400 calories across 7 days. That right there is 2,800 calories easily that you're drinking. That doesn't feel like, oh, but I eat so clean. It's like you're not excavating the whole picture here. You're just taking in a bunch of sugars and fillers and crap. But it's like it just interrupts, you know? So I think if we had better systems where it's a rule, again, I'm only going to have one or two in the morning, and then once I'm past that, it's food and hydration the rest of the day. It's not, I'm gonna go get a coffee. Like, I need to reevaluate the decisions I'm making if I think I need something to pick me up in the middle of the day. That's my unpopular opinion. I bet you a lot of people are not gonna, because people love to go get Shmoka Mocha Joe and, you know, drink it, whatever, but hey.
You said Shmoka Mocha. I'll always call it like Mocha Chocolata. You know what's funny? I never was like that, and I only like my coffee the way I make it.
Me too. Well, I feel my way is like the way I want my coffee.
Exactly. Yeah, I like my coffee. I have like a little cinnamon. I have a little honey. And
you have a specific way.
But the only other coffee, like if I'm out of coffee, or if I'm, you know, I leave early in the morning somewhere and I'm driving or something like that, the only other coffee I'll get is Stewart's coffee. Stewart's coffee is so delicious to me. But other than that, like whenever I go to like, you know, a coffee shop and they're like, oh, the coffee's so good here, I taste it and I'm always like, you know. Mine wasn't nutrition or fitness related. My unpopular opinion was you don't have to go to college to be successful.
That's a great one.
Like,
that's great.
We were talking, husband Shawn and I were talking, and you know, he was like, I wish husband Shawn, that's like what's that, sister wife or something? I don't know why that
husband Shawn and you were talking.
We were saying that he was saying how he wishes that he went to a school to learn a trade back in high school, but how it was like back then it was like looked down upon. Yeah. So, you know, he wished that he would like go to either electrician, you know, learn electric, learn plumbing, learn construction, learn something, because he felt like he just wanted to work with his hands, or that's why he took so well to the ice cutting, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting too. I believe part of this is neither of us are parents of kids or kids yet, I should say, if that's something that happens in the future. I can imagine a parental's fear of security and safety and that like nudge and that push, and it comes also too from like how we're all wired. You gotta go to school to get a job to be successful, so you're gonna be okay, is like the tunnel of thinking that I could imagine goes through, versus like what you're mentioning of better questions and better approaches in guidance to find the thing that's going to bring me joy and also bring me income so I can move towards those two things, versus most people working at a job that they hate for the majority of their life and coming home. It's like I'm on this wheel.
And like best use you just said superpowers before, like best use of your skills. Like, what are you really good at? You know, are you good communicating? Are you good with your hands?
Think about this. I don't mean to interrupt you. Rewriting that 40 for 40, and it's when I wrote this, I was like, I got out of high school, I was lost. I knew I didn't want to go to college. I was lost. I joined the military. I knew right away this is not for me for 20 years. And I did my time, and after I was lost again. And I remember going to school with kids, they're 18, I'm 22, 23. I had just been to these places in the world where it's like, and they're worried about showering, and I'm like, it just, you know, just different.
Yep.
And I felt so out of place in this, where I was, in Jersey, in Delaware, and I was just lost. And but like my passions, because my mom, and when I was writing, my mom always said, Shawn, just always follow your intuition and your passion in your heart. It will guide you. It was like this compass. And in those lost times, I really was gravitating towards the nutrition and the training, and that's kind of what led us, here we are today, okay? So to share to that too, of like, it's okay to be a little unsure and lost for a time period. You're not, like, we're not gonna have it figured out at 18. Some kids will know, I wanna go be this, or I wanna go explore this, cool. And maybe even the notion too of parents being okay with that, being okay with like your kids can, if you guide and love and nurture and meet them, like they'll be okay too, you know, like you gotta mess up and kind of drift and explore, this works, this doesn't work for me, you know?
And I like, you know, I went to school, I graduated, and from that, my takeaway was amazing friendships that I'm still friends with these people today.
Experiences.
Like, yeah, it was just, you know, it was incredible. What sparked that is that, you know, on Netflix, there's this World War II documentary, and Shawn he loves like World War II, and so he was like, I want to watch this, I don't want to say it doesn't interest me, but that's just not something that I choose to watch in my free time. But I watched it, and I was so engaged because of the way that it was put together, because of the way that the information was given, you know, and I was like, man, in high school and in college, I don't think that was like what really drew me in. And I was like, I wish that I could have that. And so it was that kind of like sparked that question, because there's a time and place, of course, for school and learning and you know, going through the process of graduating. And also, I'm sure that if a parent didn't graduate college and then their kid graduates their college, it's like, you know, they can feel like that's just so like their pride in that, you know. But yeah, that was kind of where I went for that. She's sleeping?
In dreamland. Abby, common fitness question. We'll do some of these. I'm really sore from a workout. What are some of the best things to do that come to mind?
I'm really sore.
So you know.
Movement, stretching, getting some blood flow, not a lot, and maybe in the beginning of a fitness journey, we can have folks that be like, I'm just way too sore, like I don't want to hurt myself and I don't want to come to the gym. It's like movement is key. We need to promote blood flow, we need to get the muscles long again, and that's the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, and maybe a quick, like, I'll try to take this and make it super simple. What is soreness? Soreness is you created a new adaptation in your body and then muscle tissue has broken down. So we're being called to recover better, whether that's a combination of eating nutrient-dense foods that are gonna, anti-inflammatory foods, high protein, things that are gonna nourish that, help flush that out, hydration. Like you said, light movement, that could be walking. I know we're in winter right now, so that's a little harder, versus, oh my God, I can't do nothing and I'm just gonna sit all day at my job and then come home and sit all day. It's like, that's not gonna make it better. An Epsom salt bath, letting your muscles get some magnesium, which are gonna help promote recovery as well. You could come to the gym, say it's here or wherever you're training, and you could say, I'm gonna go in and do a light day. I'm not gonna, okay, today's 5x5 back squat, intend to be heavy. I'm just gonna move my body and go a little bit lighter. Just talk to my coach about that. I'm pretty sore. Soreness is not a bad thing. Soreness just means, again, there was muscle tissue breakdown, and that's going to come in varying degrees with your journey. We're 10, 12 years into this particular experience, and we still get sore less than say someone coming in that's new. But those adaptations that they still happen, you know.
That's also a common question is like, when is the soreness going to go away?
Yeah, it doesn't go away. It just changes form. And it depends on the programming, what the programming looks like. Example, we took maybe 3 to 4 weeks away from squatting heavy on both feet or pulling heavy, and we did a unilateral phase. And then when we brought back squatting, all of us, we did a 5x5. We're very sore quads, but for days. And that's okay. You know, that's part of it too. And we're just being called to recover a little bit better. Quick note here. This is a rare percentile, especially of our population. Soreness is not a good indicator of I had a great workout.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I was just gonna go there.
That's not. And I think if that's you're chasing something a little dangerous. You're chasing, like there's more mental stuff at play that needs to be worked through, because you might have snippets of exercise addiction. You're looking to cope in an area and mask other areas, because that's going to lead you likely, if you need to try to experience that, overtraining, too much volume, muscle breakdown, joint dysregulation. So it's a slippery slope. And whether you're invincible now because your training volume has been low, you're young, cool, it catches up to everybody at some point, and then all of a sudden there's a monkey wrench thrown into life because your shoulder hurts, your back hurts, your knee hurts, whatever, and boom. And you just come with, you'll have your look in the mirror moment, and you need to reevaluate. So, you know, that's my tangent there. Yeah.
Do I need to warm up before I work out?
Always. If we're looking at like this from a coaching perspective, why do we warm up? Whether it's 3 minutes, 5 minutes, it always changes depending on what we're doing. The warm-up serves as increasing the core temperature, getting the body loose and prepared. Whether you are someone who's more mobile, supple, your body feels great, or you're someone there's people who get here, this kind of makes me laugh. If the class is at 4:15, there's people who get here a half hour early to get loose before we get loose because they're so stiff due to life, their jobs, demands, and that's cool, you know? Yes, you always need to warm up to keep you safe for what you're about to do, to decrease the chances of tweaks, injuries, things like that, to get range of motion, blood flow, and all those circulatory things. And to think you don't need a warm up, or you're above a warm up, or you could skip a warm up, you're running a very dangerous line, and eventually I know that catches up to people.
Yeah. I like bringing into like the warm ups, like how I like to warm up, and this, especially like on a heavy day like today, like getting the core temperature up, getting a little sweaty, getting a little bit of loose, and then getting activated, and that's when I feel like fantastic.
Yeah.
The last time we did back squats, I remember Katrina was like, when I did it like that, and I kind of guided everybody to let you know what we were doing. She's like, I feel great. She's like, I feel amazing, you know, and that's cool. Like,
she squatted a big weight too.
Yeah,
Props
and
to
then
Katrina.
Yeah, and then, you know, we'll have some folks that are like, you know, we get it, life outside of here, if you're, you know, running late because of job, because of kids, because of, you know, whatever, traffic, all that stuff, we understand. But what happens is that when you're 3, 5, you know, like 6 or 7 minutes late.
Don't be late. Don't be late. If it's one time, like, stuff happens. Stuff happened to me a month ago. I get it. If it's rare, it happens. If you're an abuser, it's a dangerous, slippery slope. And why? Because
you're not going to be warm.
You're not going to be warm. You're missing out. Part of it's disrespectful to your peers who can get here on time, and like you don't want that clash. Get here on time.
Get here on time.
That doesn't bother me. What's better, Abby? Here's another common fitness question.
Speaking of sore.
What's better, lifting weights or cardio? Not what you prefer.
Both.
Put them together, or put them side by side. What's better? Should I lift weights? Watch this. Let me frame. I want to lose weight. What's better?
Lifting weights.
And people that I think make a huge misconception on, oh, go jump on a treadmill, I'll run.
Or
Long, slow cardio burns what you ate, just so people know. If you really want to lose weight and change your body's composition, you need to do resistance training. And if you don't know how, you get a coach and you learn how to do it. If you want to do it at speed, you do personal training. If you want to do it slower and be a little bit more well-rounded, you do it with a group.
Yep, check. And then,
and cardio.
Yeah.
Super needed, super necessary for longevity, heart health.
I think that's what people, and me too, I was in this boat. I remember hearing, man, I'm like, I'm gaining weight and we need to do more cardio, or I need to do more cardio, or like I need to go for a run, or I need to go.
What's really happening there?
They don't want to do the nutrition part.
Yeah, if you're gaining weight, you're doing something nutritionally in succession that's causing weight gain, because weight is only gained by eating that 3,500 plus. And if you're tracking calories, like you could see, okay, I went up. But if you're not, you don't have room then to say, no, it's the training, because it's blind eating is my,
Yeah, I think stressing more about what is cardio? Cardiovascular, cardio comes from cardiovascular. It's building heart health.
Working lungs, working the heart, working the aerobic capacity development. And guess what? And I'll even put conditioning workouts, couplets, triplets. I love AMRAPs. Someone said to me the other day, I love Fight Gone Bad. I'm like, which is a muscular endurance workout, a lot of reps, a lot of movements, time and place. If every training day was like that, people would be beat up. Their bodies would hurt. Once a month, once every quarter, workouts like that, awesome. If we train like that regularly, it would be a huge disservice to people. So you talk about conditioning and cardio. They're super important, but the main staples, in my opinion, they're more supplemental. So resistance training, 3 to 5 times a week. And that's lifting weights between moderate and heavy loads, and sometimes light for muscle endurance. And that's gonna keep us strong, our joints healthy, our bone structure solid. It's going to jack up the metabolism, so we're burning fat at rest, all the things that we want. We're gonna look good, we're gonna maintain lean tissue, and be able to do this for the long haul, longevity. The cardio or the conditioning aspect gives us fitness, works out our heart, our lungs, and improves our aerobic aspect to that. We need that, and again, we need those in checks and balances. Yeah.
What's your favorite way to work out? What is something that when you see, you get really, really excited for?
It's interesting. This has changed for me a lot over time. The current place, where I'm at right now with my shoulder recovering, it might surprise you. It's, I should say right now, the thing that it would excite me the most are muscle hypertrophy building days. Example, when we do 3 sets of 6 front squats with a 4-second tempo into 12 split lunges, 6 per leg with a 3-second tempo, and then 25 heel elevated goblet squats with a 2-second tempo, rest a little bit. It's challenging. I'm challenged mentally, I'm challenged physically. The results are phenomenal. My core, my back, my butt, my legs, I'm sweating. It hits everything for me. Where a former version of myself loved the CrossFit-y, high skill, challenging workouts. I was good at those things. And there's just a different chapter of my life where that was then. Now I really, that's what really excites and juices me is there's strength training, maybe what we did today, 5x5 back squat. That's more geared towards strength. I think right now, the muscle hypertrophy. So what I just mentioned, not as heavy load, tempo, triple or supersets. And I also know my body responds really well to that.
Yeah.
What about you?
I like that too.
Yeah?
I really enjoyed that. It was tough, but I felt my strongest when we did that. And I like giant sets. I like that opposing movements, complementing movements and then conflicting movements. Those were nice. And then always having a core movement in there, getting sweaty, getting out of breath.
Go back to what you said, because you felt what?
Strong.
Right. And that, I think, at a core level, we all, for ourselves, want to feel strong in my body, capable in my body, self-trust, Francesca, in my body. These specific things like that will give us.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. I like to get heavy breathing, you know. But I don't. That's like if we do that once or twice a week.
There's a workout. This is just a funny flashback. There's a workout you, me, and Britt did. It was a Saturday over the summer, and it was a power clean, run, burpee, box jump over. And I remember you like hanging on for dear life.
Yeah, Britt too.
Britt too, and it's funny when you think about like I like getting out of breath. Then I just chuckle with that. Quick programming nugget that I think is really helpful in the strength realm is, I think, and this is something we'll likely explore more, the best results in my experience, have come from oscillating weeks. 3 weeks, 4 weeks is like the limit of what I call accumulation phase, which is the muscle building, with 3 to 4 weeks of strength, where you lower the overall volume and you go a little heavier. So like the giant sets, the triple sets of strength with lower load tempo, and like the body builds muscle, the joints, all that stuff. It gets amazing benefit. And then we can transition and apply that into force production, load production in strength, and just go back and forth. And the true strength is built consistently like that, where maybe, go back to CrossFit, it's a little bit more varied. So, that's what's unique, but
which drives such great results too. And I like how we get it sprinkled in, because when we do that stuff, when we do power cleans and when we do burpee box jumps or when we do pull-ups, it feels good. It's cool to see like that now, the way that our programming is structured, and even our community that we've been attracting. It's like people love that. Like people love to feel like dense in their body. Like yesterday we had the slow incline bench press, the slow bent over rows. And everybody at the 4 and the 6 that I coached, like they left and they were like, man, I can feel all the muscles I just worked, and that feels really good. So, and then when we have, a killer CrossFit-esque workout too, they feel great, but it's a different feel when they leave.
Yeah, absolutely. And just rotating through those. We'll say just a food. What's a food or a food combo you just can't get behind?
Oh, I can't get behind?
Like, you're like, no.
The only reason I know is because we went to this place the other day and they had it was like a burger and it had peanut butter and bacon on it.
On a burger?
Yeah.
Oof.
I just can't get down with like peanut butter. People do peanut butter and stuff. I love peanut butter, but
not on like a meal like that,
no.
A salty meal. Here's a food I can't get behind: Jell-O. Get it out of here. Next, hot second, soup. Soup, I know people love soup.
I love soup.
Third, cereal. Get it out of here.
Do you just not like eating something with a spoon?
That's all I eat with it is a spoon.
Is it a texture thing?
Jell-O and soup.
I don't like Jell-O.
Jell-O, get it out of here.
Yeah, I don't like Jell-O, but I like soup.
What meal that you're currently eating on a rotation is your favorite?
We eat this so much. Either boneless, skinless chicken thighs or chicken breast. Okay. Like seasoned up, like really, really nice.
You need flavor.
It's so good, like the way we flavor it. Our veggies are usually string beans, mushrooms and tomatoes, or zucchini, mushrooms and cherry tomatoes. Like sauteed, I just love it, delicious. And basmati rice. We just had it last night and I love it.
Give me your protein is the chicken.
Yeah, protein. We rotate, chicken breast, but we'll like rotate.
Breast is leaner, thighs have a little fat.
Yep. And veggies like I love like beans, like string beans or zucchini. You turned me on zucchini. Love mushrooms, love tomatoes. It's just a really nice mix. And then I really like the basmati rice. It like cooks the way that I like it. So and that's my carbohydrate. Sometimes we'll make like quinoa or couscous, but basmati rice is usually the carb.
Cool. And that's your dinner?
Yeah, I don't usually eat a lot of carbs throughout the day besides fruit.
Smart. So I do the same. I'll go to breakfast, which has a fruit base. This could be breakfast or like meal too. And I've lowered this just to see like how does my stomach tolerate this, because I noticed the fat was high. So let me lower this imprint. So I do 3 whole eggs, and I crack the fourth, just do the white, give her the yolk of the fourth. Then I'll do 3 servings of egg whites out of a carton, which if you're not getting egg whites out of a carton, like buying them, you're missing out on added protein, just protein only. So there's some protein there. And then I'll chop up, it's not enough protein for me, just that alone, or for most people. So then I'll add to that something like 2 to 3 ounces of chicken breast that I already have in the fridge.
In the eggs.
In the eggs.
Or shrimp.
Or shrimp. Again, those are just high protein, nothing else. Then I'll add a little goat cheese, shout out Astrid. And then Britt actually taught me this. I'll put pesto in it while it's cooking. I was doing it last, but pesto in it is actually way better. So then pesto in it, stir it up. I cook it in beef tallow for a little extra fat, which you wanna know a funny thing about beef tallow? Britt gives me such crap for this. When I did my blood work through Ways to Well, the woman was like talking about like a skincare thing, and she was like, she recommended this one, and I was like, yeah, she's like, yeah, it has beef tallow. And I was like, oh, I eat beef tallow. She goes, yeah, well, now you're gonna put it on your face. So I bought it, bovine, whatever, and I take this little wooden spoon after I get out of the shower, and I put it on my finger, and I do this is my new skincare routine. So Britt teases me, she's like, when she'll like go to kiss my cheek or she's like, man, you're just so tasty, you're just like beef tallow or something like that. Back to the meal. So the meal, if you figure 2-3 ounces of chicken, 3 eggs, the egg whites, you're looking at somewhere in the territory of like 50 plus grams of protein, easily. And it needs to be there, per meal, because if I'm trying to get 175 to 200 grams of protein, and there's fat in there, so that's my protein and my fat. And then my carbs are fruit, and I do a half a cup of blueberries, I do a full cup of cut up strawberries, and then a full cup of pineapple. And that's almost always, and I love it. I love the nutrients. I feel so good, I feel so clear. I hydrate, I'll take my fish oil, and just all that stuff, just phenomenal.
It's funny, I was just actually sharing this with someone this morning about the eggs and the egg whites. What was happening for me is that I love eggs. Sometimes, like in the morning, it's easier and more accessible to me to have my yogurt. I love yogurt in the morning. But
texture.
What's that?
Texture yogurt.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh my gosh, I love yogurt.
You like yogurt? Yep.
So what was happening was that I would buy egg whites and they would go bad. Like I just wouldn't use them enough to go bad. And sometimes I feel for me is when I add the egg whites, it's like a lot of food and I just really like can't finish it. And so I was looking and they said that's when I had the Greek yogurt. So it's non-fat, clean, Fage Greek yogurt, and about a tablespoon adds like 10 to 15 grams of protein in it. So I would like put it in my eggs, whip it, and it bulks it up, but not like more.
So yogurt in the egg whites.
Yogurt in the egg whites. And it's really good. And there's like the TikTok, there's thing that's like viral about putting cottage cheese, but cottage cheese comes with a little bit more fat. This has 0% fat. And I get it, like that whole thing, eggs, 3 eggs, or I think like what, 8 to 10 grams of fat maybe, but then like the protein.
Yeah. Good on you for recognizing too, like cottage cheese, yeah, it's great, but comes with a little fat.
I love cottage cheese too. Do you like cottage cheese?
No.
Of course you don't.
Clumpy liquid. Okay. If there was a book written about you and your life up to this point, what would it be titled? I don't wanna.
No, all I can think of is like, it would be like Gail in like capital letters, like Gail capital letters, Gail. The Secret Diaries.
The Secret Diaries. So you would share some insider scoop stuff?
Sure. I mean, I'm a pretty open book.
You are.
People know me.
How about openings with Gail?
Openings with Gail. What would yours be?
Name it. What do you think?
I don't know. I would have to have something with McQueen in it.
Oh yeah?
I don't know. McQueen is just like a powerful last name.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean?
I don't know. That's great.
You don't? Like every time I say McQueen, like it's a powerful last name.
Oh, thank you. In my youth, I had to come to terms with that. I was like, why couldn't it be McKing?
No.
when you're like little, But I'm a fan of it now. I don't know.
What should we end on? How do I stay motivated? Once you get started, how do I stay motivated?
Yeah, that's a good one. So I think it's a mistake to rely on motivation. Motivation is going to wane up and down, me included.
Mm-hmm.
There are times I am not motivated
Mm-hmm.
to work out, train, whatever it is. So my first thought is working first on, before I go to discipline, which is like you need to build a discipline muscle, we know that that's true. Where can I give myself easy wins? Maybe it is motivation could be, I think an easy way to build motivation is keeping and committing your word to yourself. So if I say I'm gonna go to the gym 3 times this week, I go to the gym 3 times this week. Like first building that up. That's a first thought I have outside of maybe doing a deep dive into like building discipline.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think helps with motivation?
That one is a good one. That was kind of like the one that I was thinking.
Build a routine.
I think it's like building a routine. Someone
Yeah.
said today, like, they're like, I love the 10 a.m. They're like, but the 10 a.m. is easy to like cancel out of because you have a lot of time in the morning that stretches out, and you have a lot of times to say, nah, I'm not gonna go to the gym. So I feel as though if you're like needing commitment, like to start working out in the morning, and leave less room to like think about it. Like it's easier to just like kind of shut off the brain, shut off the alarm, get your clothes on and go versus like have a long time to start to think about it.
Yeah. I heard something recently, and I'm probably gonna butcher it a little bit, but it was by saying no to this, going to the 10 a.m., what am I saying yes to? By saying yes to this, what am I saying no to? Mm-hmm. By saying yes to this cookie, so this trade-off, so to speak, too, and just that mentality. And I think to shift into another mentality nugget that was helpful for some nutrition clients and a client who was traveling, I think this is important, one to share. It's been my experience, most people think in this, I'm either making progress, moving towards this version of myself I want to be, making some sort of segue, just put anything in progress realm in the game. Or I'm losing, I'm backsliding, I'm not going where I want to be. And like, there's no middle ground. And I believe that to be incorrect. I think there's a point of gain, I think there's a point of losing and backsliding. And I also think people need to recognize there's a maintenance phase. Example, when I work with clients in nutrition who want to lose weight and they need to lose a lot of weight. And we spend about 3 to 6 months in a deficit, a caloric deficit, and they're making great strides. Right around the 6-month mark, I say, now I'm gonna teach you how to build a maintenance phase, meaning how to maintain this weight with a fluctuation of a pound or 2 over the next 8 to 12 weeks. Because you don't know how to do that and you've never necessarily done that. And in the nutritional realm, if you stay on a deficit forever or just for a long period of time, not great for adrenal glands, hormones, all that stuff, and probably just is going to throw you right back to where you've been because you've been in a deficit for so long. So again, it gives equilibrium. We had a member who's traveling and they're going away for 2 to 3 weeks on vacation, or not necessarily vacation, but home for the holidays. And I said, hey, can I offer a thought? And I said, when you're away, if you're not going to be training, a mentality that I would offer up is reminding yourself that you're in maintenance mode, that you're not losing all your progress. You're going to be skiing, you're going to be being active, you're going to be applying your fitness. That's amazing. And if you want, you could of course find a gym to drop into. You could do a plank, 2 minutes a day, but you don't need to do those things. You're in a maintenance mode. You're not going to just significantly derail your progress in 3 weeks, but you're doing the things outside of here nutritionally to maintain that. So that mentality, and then you could take it further of like my work stuff, my relationships, what relationships are in maintenance mode right now? Where do I need to make strides? Where are relationships sliding in versus just this, they're growing or dying?
Yeah.
There's a midpoint too that I think people neglect.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool.
Do you want to, LP brought up the pregnancy one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be important to honor her question. So we have a member, Laura. So Laura, this is for you, who said she put this on while she was cleaning, I think. I loved that. And she brought up, because you guys talk about training, pregnancy training. She goes, because I know a lot of people have apprehensions. I can't believe people, could train while they're pregnant. And from our experience as coaches and training people for over a dozen years now, we've probably done, I would say it's got to be in the ballpark of 20 to 30 plus pregnancies, safely up to the day of, delivery, and then post-pregnancy. So maybe we could talk about how we approach it, and obviously not, I'm a male, but and you not going through that experience yet. However, as the coaches of those going through the experience, how do we help guide, nurture, and create a safe space where they feel safe, comfortable, and they can continue to make progress and continue to train?
Yeah, I think the first thing that one that sticks out is open communication and open dialogue all the time. If you feel good, continue on to doing the movements that really feel good within the body, and if they don't, we adjust. Doing a little bit of research on our end where we know we don't want to do any opening closing of the abdomen here, because we want to make sure that those muscles stay. I forgot what they call it, but it's opening the ab. We want to keep it closed. So no not so much hanging, no much pushing and pulling, but again, doing a little bit of research on our end. And
in stages, right? So
of course,
in the earlier stages, the degree of movements drop off the further along the journey.
Yeah, of course.
And to piggyback off your communication, as soon as, this is our approach, as soon as someone says, Shawn, Abby, guys, I'm pregnant, we say, amazing, high five. We hug, we embrace, we say, okay. Just like we talked about the mentality, it shifts. It's no longer about this trend towards, I want to get stronger in my back squat, I want to get a pull-up, I want to do this. It's be consistent within being here, and we tell them, okay, now you have a lot of say in obviously these movements, your threshold, your gear, and you don't need to follow the particular gear that might be the day. So you fall into a training day that is, hey guys, today's a high effort day, that doesn't apply to you. You move at a pace that feels appropriate and comfortable for you, so you are in the driver's seat. We're always going to be checking in. You feel okay? And it might become a little bit over redundant, but it's because we care. We want to make sure you feel good, you feel safe. So we set that stage from the very beginning in terms of, so our gals feel, okay, I feel good. And to kind of elaborate in terms of the training is, always in dialogue, do you feel comfortable doing this movement? Do you feel comfortable deadlifting? And of course, the stretch of themselves becomes, I'm not gonna lift quite as heavy anymore. And it shifts into more of a maintenance. I'm working out with if it's in group environment, I should say, which has been the predominant. I'm gonna have fun with my friends. I'm gonna have an outlet that's for me, where this too, when we asked a bunch of the women, they said, something along the lines of, this is the one place that I come to where I'm not bombarded with the baby.
And it's more about me.
It's more about me.
I think that's so important. One of the women, Helen, recently, who just had a baby, I love how they feel, especially if they have a longer relationship with us before they become pregnant. It's really wonderful to know that they're confident in us, that they're going to continue, where maybe some outsiders could say, you shouldn't work out because it's dangerous and all of this. But I remember her saying, she's like, of course I'm not going to stop working out. She's like, I'm training for the biggest marathon of my life. And when she said that, I was like, that's right, And what's even better is that, as a woman, and again, I haven't gone through it, but talking to them and talking to a lot of friends, when you go through that major change of your body, where you start to see, the growth of the belly, and you start to see the changes, what they feel after the pregnancy is that they're able to really get back into their bodies a lot quicker, because they've stayed consistent up into the point of pregnancy, and then they take their time, recover, from what's prescribed, and then they get back into it once they feel.
Yeah, and Britt mentioned this in her write-up, which I thought was important to share too. Each human, each woman has their own unique set of experiences. Where I remember Tabby would get very winded very easily. Caitlin, who is a member who shifted to one-on-one, it sounds like she's having, I don't know what the right word, not challenge, but
a lot of fatigue and
right,
maybe
like
some more sickness,
these things that are probably disrupting everyday life experiences that I would assume would make anything movement related less desirable. So shifting to that environment, her and Aaron, it's phenomenal. Where Laura, going through her pregnancy, I think she was back here within a month, and her body, her recovery, Nicole's, I think about Britt up to the day of, where, what she felt comfortable doing, moving a sandbag, knowing her own body, and you're in the driver's seat, being okay with her being upside down. And again, what I loved about maybe Britt's is people could have their own judgments. You shouldn't be upside down. You shouldn't lift that. And it's I love that she had the confidence, this is my body and I know my limits, where we let them do that with guidance, with trust, from the Helens, making sure they, no matter what, feel safe. There's nothing you in here that you ever will need or be forced to do. This is a collaborative effort because it's your body, and we want you to feel safe and have a good experience in here. You know?
Caitlin said something to me that was and Caitlin, this is great. She said something along the lines of, she's like, it's unfamiliar to me because this is the first time that I'm working out not to make a change in my body.
Yes, gain, maintain, lose.
Yeah, and it was it was so cool for her to hear. She's like, I'm not looking to get stronger. I'm not looking to lose weight. I'm just looking to move. And it's very cool to transition to, even again, in unfamiliar territory.
And the last note here is, I could imagine that what a whirlwind to, go through this process. Life is inside of you. Your body changes, gains weight, all these things that happen, then you deliver. And I'm thinking about Nicole specifically, where when she came back, and we talked a little bit about this, her and I, and maybe more in a group environment, where she was wearing looser clothing, and your body is different than you knew it previously, because you just went through this 9-month endeavor and fluids and all these things, and even post-delivery. And I'm thinking about her because it's one of the more fresh ones, where LP almost seemed like she just had her baby and was right? And everyone's journey is different. Where Nicole, I remember just her being steady and her consistency, and then all of a sudden it's wherever she is now in her journey, and it was, I want to say maybe 3 months from when she started coming back, which was probably 12 weeks post-delivery, if I'm correct. It looked like, the best Nicole we'd seen. Yeah. And her, just the strength and the commitment, and again, kudos to you, Nicole. And time and time again, Helen looks phenomenal. Britt looks phenomenal. These LP, and all the previous females who've come in here and who've done this tremendous journey, again, and I do really value them trusting in us guiding them along that journey, and then helping them navigate the way back. Because the way back too, I remember Britt writing, again, it depends natural versus if you get, your stomach open. And it's still a process. And I think that's a shift too. You mentioned with Caitlin, the gain, maintain, lose of when I come back, I used to be able to squat X. It's the building. Yeah. And be kind to yourself. It's about reintegrating this process for sure.
And you're motivators to a lot of the folks around the room, because I remember so many times, you'll be in the room, and whether it's male, female, however, whatever age, people will be like, well, if she's doing it and she's 9 months pregnant,
that was always so motivating. I remember working a lot with Helen and Nicole and being like, that's all I need is, if I think this is hard, that's got to be extra hard. And just being like, you got it. Yep. Okay. Well, so this is our before Christmas edition. Hope everybody has a good holiday. Enjoy. And we'll be back next week for another...
the in-between week. Christmas and New Year's.
Oh, yeah. Wow. It'll be the last one of 2023.
Oh, yay.
Cool.
Little piggy.